Hello, everybody, and welcome to this live session brought to you by Teaching English with the British Council. I am Hamdan, and today I have an amazing guest with us today, Sabrina Herceg. Hi, Sabrina.
Hi everyone.
Nice to meet everyone. Usually we have audience, I'm sure they will appear in a few minutes. But if you are watching us, tell us where you are watching from. And today we will be talking with Sabrina about organizing classroom recycling for sustainability. So if you are joining, please tell us where you're joining from. And we will talk about organizing classroom recycling for sustainability. Sabrina, sustainability and recycling, it's usually a tricky subject for teachers. Do you agree?
Oh, yes, definitely. It's really tricky, especially because this is such a broad term. And it's when we talk about recycling and sustainability, it's usually something bigger than a classroom of 20 to 25 students. So it needs to be thought out really well and what to do and how much freedom to give to the students and what type of assignments, what vocabulary, which grammar. So everything is a bit up in the air. So you need to be really know what you want your students to do and what are your goals for them to learn. And
so when we say sustainability, what do we mean? When we say classroom recycling for sustainability, what does it actually mean?
Well, I kind of gave it my own spin, so I'm not sure if it's the actual sustainability and recycling recycling for sustainability. I kind of got from the point that we only have one trash can in our classroom and everything goes into the trash can, and it's not separated, like it's not plastic, it's not paper, it's not like common waste. So my idea started from there, and I shared that with my students, and then they had like this session where they thought up of their own ideas. Of course, everything was interwoven into vocabulary which I wanted to teach, and grammar that can be applied to the specific recycling and sustainability umbrella. So
you use recycling and sustainability as a theme to teach vocabulary and grammar. Yes. That's really nice because we always look for a context to teach our grammar, our vocabulary. So sustainability and recycling is a very good theme to work out with learners.
Well, usually in grammar-wise, it's a bit, I would say it's more dodgy because we need to be pretty sure what we want to teach. So I kind of chose 2 parts of grammar. One are modal verbs, and the other one are future tenses, future perfect, future perfect continuous, and future continuous, because they seem to struggle the most with those 3 tenses. And it kind of made sense to incorporate them so they don't really struggle, but more kind of like take them in through a lot of examples and through using the language in their own regard and their own respect. So I'm it's kind of there mostly, and then model verbs, of course, it's when they have the assignment to make posters, to make pamphlets, to make inspirational videos. You have to recycle, you ought to recycle, so everything kind of revolves around that idea, but they don't do it.
There's a lot of grammar that can be, there's a lot of grammar structures that can be taught in that theme. So for example, I imagine imperatives maybe.
Yes, definitely those 2
imperatives. And usually is it about just teaching them those structures or language, or do you usually also do hands-on activities with the students to teach them?
Definitely we have this like a teaching moment, and then we do hands-on activities so they can actually take the language that we taught them and make them their own. So it's not just reproduction or repeating of what I say or what they read somewhere, just blindly doing it, but it's more of their own production, their own originality, and how can they use the language, and how can they kind of tailor the language to their own needs in a given situation, of course.
So it's like recycling in the sense that they do actual recycling, but it's
Yes,
also recycling as a technique, because
yes, definitely.
you're depending on resources that already
Mhm.
exist in the classroom.
Uh,
And usually, how do students respond to it?
they respond very positively. I haven't had a negative response to these to the assignments I give out, and to the group work and pair work or their solo work, like individually. They didn't have anything negative to say, because they want to act, so to speak. They want to be positive. They want to be the change, kind of to be part of something that's bigger. Because a lot of students maybe feel left out, because all the grown-ups are making decisions, they're all doing something, and sort of it's giving them their own voice, in a sense, that they can
Yeah,
see that they can do with their own actions, make something better. So I think it's that, and that
yeah,
makes them motivated. That motivates them so much. An
that
amazing motivation, just
they're
just
able to
that
do
one
this. Yeah.
single thing.
Mm. And sometimes it could be projects, maybe where they act as advocates, or
Mhm.
I don't know, they write guidelines for, they act as, working in municipality, for example, something like
Yes,
extra.
because in my hometown, where my students obviously are from, we all have this recycling programs that we are all a part of. Our household is a part of, and we all have our individual bins for recycling: plastic, paper, metal, uh, just regular waste. And so one of the ideas that my students came up with is to have those bins in a smaller version, of course, in the classrooms themselves, because one bin doesn't cut it. And there's, like, I don't know, 500 students in our school, so that's a lot. And they came up with their own ideas, and they actually made containers. I don't have them with me, obviously, because I'm at home at the moment. But they made these small containers just from, I don't know, an old shoebox, or maybe some discarded piece of furniture or a drawer. So it was recycling and then upcycling, in a sense. So it kind of got it took on its own life in a moment, just by me giving them, like, completely free reign of their ideas and creative thinking.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, I love that idea. And it's nice also to tie it with, things that are happening outside the classroom. So you said that there are programs already about
Mhm.
sustainability. So bridging that local with the knowledge they gain from the classroom is really important. I'm having a look at the comments from our teachers, and let's see. We have Vanilla says, I use recycling for vocabulary. Instead of a bin, I use envelope.
Yes. Yes, I love it. It's just like the small things. It can be an envelope, it can be an old pencil case that you kind of discarded because maybe it has a zipper that's tear down, or basically anything can be used. And
And
that's
that's the
the beauty
idea
of
of
it.
sustainability, that you can use
Yes.
anything. Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
definitely. And I love that. I truly do love it, because it's always for us teachers the problem of finance, how to, how to get everything that you want from your students, something you get from, I don't know, the ministry, the school, whoever. But this is something that we can actually just, take something that we discarded, that we don't need at our own homes, and just bring it and, reuse it, upcycle it. And it's kind
And
of.
also sometimes maybe encouraging students to bring.
Yes. I mean, we teach by example. I mean, in life, it's like teaching with an example, but we add grammar, vocabulary, and all those very important things. So it's not just, we're going to do this the entire class, but we also have, it's controlled chaos
Yeah.
in a small sense of the word.
There's another comment here from Lucy saying, I love your idea to combine the teaching of grammar points with recycling and sustainability.
Thank you, Lucy.
Let's see. Dipti says, I reuse teaching material like flashcards, sentence matching.
Yes,
That's
that's
also
also important because a lot of teachers just, I don't know, they print out assignments or print out any any teaching material and just, reuse it, use it for that 1 year, and then just. I mean, we do recycle paper, but
Hmm.
still, it's much better if we just, put it in an envelope or in a binder or somewhere and just, reuse it. I love
Yeah,
it.
sometimes it can be used also by other teachers
Hmm.
if they
Definitely.
are organized in that
Oh yeah,
way.
exchanging materials all around it.
Lucy says we do a unit of inquiry with our 5-year-old infants whereby they become recycling agents and they teach the 3 and 4-year-olds to recycle correctly. What other techniques do you use to encourage students to recycle? Well, that's a brilliant idea. So it's also
Oh.
like
Hmm.
peer teaching.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, so how to encourage students to recycle? Most of them really have this consciousness already because I teach high school level, so that's 14 to 18-year-old students, and they already have some consciousness about recycling, precisely because we have a program, a recycling program in our city. But one of the ways that I kind of encouraged it is that one group of students in one class came up with idea they called Thrift Thursday. So first Thursday of the month, it's a thrift day. So basically, what they do is bring their own clothes that they don't want to use anymore for whatever reason. It needs to be like in good condition. It needs to be clean, and then they either you pay a couple of euros or a couple of bucks, whatever, for the item, or you can just exchange it with someone else. And that kind of gets them going because they all have old things to give, basically to get rid of, so to speak. And I think that's an amazing thing to do, especially with that age group. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if I have.
agree. I'm an adult and I still get excited when um, in my university they do clothes swaps sometimes.
Something
Yeah.
like that, like either a cloth.
Yeah.
They called it Thrift Thursday, and it's so far like a project, but just for one class because we're trying to see how it goes. But I already talked with a couple of my colleagues, and we plan to do it like the whole school kind of thing because they're so excited.
Yeah.
And when they see different bins, they automatically say like, okay, so I need to, I don't know, throw my pencil here, my pen here, or the paper here, or something made of plastic here. They think about it. They When they're faced with containers, different containers, they feel compelled to do it, sort of just by seeing it. And the thrift thing it was like such a huge success. They absolutely loved it. Loved it.
Um, yeah, it's a great idea, and also because it has that hands-on and authentic aspect
Yes.
about it. So I think students, especially young ones, they interact
Hmm.
very well with something authentic.
Yes,
Um,
but we're also teaching them to buy things more
mm,
consciously,
so it's also
especially when,
creating the culture.
yes, it's not, and also a small part of it is also like a socioeconomic part, because not all students have enough money or come from well-off families. So it's like they can also afford things. It's the thrifting is on multiple levels.
Mm,
It's very complex, but it's good on multiple levels for students, for their well-being, for their own consciousness about recycling. It's I love it. I loved it. When they came up with it, I was like, yes, yes, we need that. Go with it. The idea is brilliant.
yeah, we're getting really good suggestions and ideas from our community. So we have Mam Kunji, Mam Kuninji. Sorry if I said pronounce it wrong.
Hi.
He says, "I'm trying," or they say, "I'm trying not to learn so much on the. I'm not. I'm trying not to lean so much on the recycling or reuse environment aspect of sustainability, but also focus on social issues too, and consumption.
Mhm.
For example, Black Friday is coming, and we discuss these issues as debates." That's a
Oh,
really
that is a wonderful idea, because we as a society, as the whole world is pretty much obsessed with consumerism, if in one way or another, and it's sort of important to have that discussion with them, especially if they're young learners, so that they can kind of think critically in that respect, especially if you debate it. I mean, that's that's a very, very good idea.
yeah, and it's also a good way to teach again grammar and vocabulary.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
yeah,
Hmm.
agreeing, disagreeing language. There is another comment from Benella who said, as Sabrina already said, the best way to encourage students is by giving them examples. Us teachers are supposed to bring items first and then
Yes.
let them bring their own.
Hmm.
Yes, so
Yeah,
leading
completely.
by example.
Yeah,
Uh,
I have an example for my fellow teachers also,
yes.
because this is a poster that my students made. I mean, it's very, they made it all by hand. It's called Recycling in GAM. GAM is an acronym of our school. So we have paper, clothes, colorful cans in nature, and all those kind of examples and suggestions what to do for other students to kind of take in and to read. And I was kind of blown away with their ideas also on this one, because they suggested, I don't know, planting saplings in our free time or as a project, also the thrifting, um, recycling in special canisters. So it's everything. I'm I
Yeah.
love the subject, and then I'm like talking, and I'm usually
Yeah, we can see the
get a bit
enthusiasm.
carried away.
No, I love that example and the poster, and maybe they can create it in groups and then have some gallery and see each other's
Hmm.
ideas. Uh, and here we have Lucy who says, I love your Thrift Thursday idea. Thank you for sharing. It is great to find motivational ideas for students.
Oh, thank you,
Absolutely.
Lucy, so much.
Um, and they're showing you some love, Sabrina. Sabrina,
No, thank
amazing
you.
as always. Let's see. Here, Dipti says we have a company in Sri Lanka which collects old clothes and recycle them as well. I know a person who makes tote bags with old denim trousers, which is very good, taking into consideration the amount of water used to make a denim trouser.
Hmm. Hmm. I do
Yeah.
encourage my students who are more creative and more like hands-on, because I'm not. I don't know how to sew or anything, but I do encourage. I have a couple of students who are like really good at it. I encourage them to just, I don't know, make a tote bag or make a t-shirt or make something out of old clothes, not only thrift them, obviously. But I think that's also a brilliant idea. Oh, and Sorry, but Lucy said patchwork and teaching sewing
Yeah,
skills. Yes,
yeah,
yes, thank you. Yes, this is so important. And as she said, it's sadly there are not many places. Yes.
yeah. Unfortunately, although these are really important skills, like for maybe young learners, also like for movement of the hands, or
Mhm.
if they have problems in writing to strengthen their muscles, these are good skills.
Yes. I mean, we should. I mean, on a bigger scale, we definitely should teach them practical skills because
Yeah.
it's important on a number of levels in life, but also in this is for recycling things because landfills and clothes being thrown into landfills is such a huge
Mm,
issue in today's society and today's world, and it's a I don't know a disaster waiting to happen if it's not
mm,
happening already. Of course, it is, but that is very important because again, we have to build that type of consciousness in our
mm.
students for them
Yeah.
to think more critically when they're either buying clothes or buying stuff. Especially, I think some of one of the comments specifically said Black Friday.
Yes.
Yes, it's going to be a madness. It's going to be complete and utter madness. But even if we can like reach a couple of students, I think it's important to just if we cannot influence 20 or 25 of them, just a couple of them, it would be a good thing because then they could influence another one or two people and so on and so
Mm,
forth, and then just spread this
mm,
tentacles of consciousness about the problem as well as being sustainable.
mm. It's also a problem that is tied to wider issues. So, as you said, it's a good introduction also to critical thinking. Uh,
Hmm.
it requires you to think about different aspects of the world, of how we do things as society. So,
Hmm.
yeah. Some comment was about also how it can be used for arts. You can also rope in Thai arts teacher if you can't do Thai art projects. Integration and collaboration is the best.
Hmm. Oh, most definitely. My plan is to rope an art teacher and a biology teacher, of course, and other English teachers into it because, but this is all like a pilot project for now because it's like one or two classes so far because I was not sure how the my ideas or what I want them to do is going to be received. But for now, everything is going great. So we are thinking about like spreading the idea and roping in different teachers
Yeah,
because we all need to be a part of it as a society and as individuals. We all need to participate.
yeah. There's a comment that ties to that. While I was in South Africa with my learners, we actually visited the landfill site, collected data, came back to school, and wrote to Thai municipality how Thai methane gas affects the community. We took
Hmm.
precautions. It's not safe. Wow,
Yeah, they are very
that's a big
very
assignment. Yeah.
yeah, that's a huge assignment.
Mm,
I think it just shows how dangerous landfills are, and we are thinking, oh, it's just closed. It's still not okay. It's still dangerous, and it still has a huge potential to be an environmental disaster, or is not to be, but is an environmental disaster.
There's also here from Amir who says, I use bottle caps to reinforce attention and observation. I draw different patterns in different grids. The students look at them and follow the pattern using caps on the empty grid I provide him or her. Oh,
Hmm.
I think you
That is yeah.
you have some bottles
Yes, I
with you.
have bottles. As I said, I took them from school because it's a holiday today in Croatia. So hi everyone. So I had to take them beforehand. Okay, so because we have a huge bottle issue, because all the students are buying drinks, soft drinks, soda drinks, water. So there's a huge issue with water bottles. So we decided to upcycle them. So this is a vase. It has like a space to put in. Soil and to plant maybe succulents or cacti, whatever you want. It has like a thing to stand on, so it does stand on its own. You can see. Then we have, this is just one example of a bird feeder. So the grain goes in here, and the bird has to stand here to get it. This is two old pencils that are out of use. This is for your to water your plants. So you just stick it into the soil, and the water slowly drips to a Q-tip. And this is something that's, well, currently not working because I don't know how to start it, but my students do, and they did explain it, but I have two left hands, so that's that. It's basically a ventilator. So when you're hot, you can just use this to get a bit cold, because this kind of goes around and around. I'm not sure the principle. They did it themselves. They showed it to me, so I know it works, but I myself do not know how to start it. So I'm sorry, but some of the
Oh,
ideas
that's very creative.
yeah.
Uh, I love that. I love the bird feeder. I think
Yeah, and
others
you
here
can
are
just
showing their love to the bird
yeah.
feeder. That's so creative.
Yeah.
And we also have another comment. I think I'm looking for it. This one. Also, using wet wipe lids are good for activities, and milk caps are great for rewriting skills too, as the students have to learn to screw them in and off.
Yeah, because they're learning the fine motor skills. Yes, definitely.
That's a really nice
Yeah,
idea.
because we can reuse so many things that we have at home, and we would usually just put it in the trash and forget about it. But this type of thing, and we're teachers, we have it ingrained in our minds, in our mindset, that we need to be like very frugal, because teaching is it is what it is. And being frugal kind of gives us this a little bit motivation to just I don't know, share it with the class, and just find new life for the things that we have around us, and use them for our own well-being, as well as to teach our students different things, from fine motor skills to thrifting to I don't know, building a vase, a planter for for a succulent. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah,
It is, it's not. I think it's even pretty. I'm not gonna be mean, but you know, everything can be reused, and that's what I'm trying to teach my students. Everything
mm,
can be recycled, everything can be upcycled, and we need to, any one of us can do something. We
mm,
are not like we
mm.
cannot do anything, we cannot change
Yeah,
anything. We can do, and
yeah.
we should.
Part of it is just believing that you have a role to play in this, and you can be an active citizen. So it's
Hmm.
also incorporating themes of active citizenship. Um,
Yes,
and Lucy here says students are amazing. If you give them freedom, they can come up with so many creative ideas. That's so true.
yes. I
There's
have
also
the oh, sorry.
no,
Sorry.
go ahead. Someone wants to
Uh,
collaborate with you, so that's why
yes,
he's
we
saying
should we should talk
Ahmed
more on that.
earlier we should collaborate on a national level.
Oh,
Let's go ahead,
why not?
Sabrina.
Sure. I'm always open for collaboration with fellow teachers, because we need to work together, because
Mm,
we all have one common goal, and that is to teach our students something, depending on the particular class we teach, and also to teach them, different cultures, sharing ideas, sharing, communicating. anything of the sort. So that's why I do like collaboration with different schools, different countries. So
Mm,
international even, yes.
yeah. Here. Um, and I think those are all great ideas. We've got some great ideas from you, Sabrina, as well as from our teachers. And we encourage that teachers keep this conversation going on our Facebook page. But our time for this session has ended. Thank you so much, Sabrina.
Thank you
Just
for having
one
me.
last thing, maybe if you have one tip for teachers who are not maybe who are hesitant to include themes of recycling or sustainability, what would you tell them?
Not to be afraid, and not to think that you cannot do it. You can do it. And if you don't have if you cannot come with with an idea like instantly when you think about it, talk to your students, especially if you have like 14 to 18-year olds. They have so many ideas, even young ones. They have ideas because they still have they're still not afraid to express themselves, because a lot of people go like, oh, I'm not going to say anything because maybe someone will think that's a stupid idea or something. But kids don't have that kind of you know that kind of a wall in front of them. So if just go for it, just go for it.
Yeah, just go for it. That's the best to give. And thanks to everyone who joined us today. Thank you for all the brilliant ideas, and see you next time. Thank you very much.